Good evening. I'm Dave Walker. I'm the technical director here at BVU Theatre. And so don't panic. We're not starting exactly right now, but I wanted to clue you in on a couple of things that are going to happen. The first thing is, here in a couple minutes, I'll be pulling the cast out onto stage. And since this is a live performance done for television, radio, and the web, you guys are our studio audience. And so you get to see, well, you get to see the kitchen of sorts. You get to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, because if we were doing this for real, which we are, but if we were doing it in a studio, my cameras here, or my people here would be in a sound booth studio. My Foley would be in another sound booth studio. I would have announcers that were in a different place. I'd have musicians in another, and we'd be orchestrating between all of them. But we're going to have everybody on stage together tonight. So all of the Foleys here, all of the actors will be here, so you get to see it all. If you have ever experienced this before, some of our people that have come to previous shows actually prefer to close their eyes and just watch it in their mind. So they close their eyes and they listen to it and they build the pictures for themselves, rather than trying to catch all of the things that are going on, because it can be really distracting when we have people doing sounds here and people doing stuff up there at the microphones. So just enjoy it however you would like to, but just know that we're going to be breaking eggs out here. It's just things will be going on all over the place. So we'll try not to distract you too much. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention is occasionally the University Theater does a promotion with the community, and our community promotion this time around is to support a new canine unit here at in Storm Lake. We've been without a canine unit for a few years after our last dog passed away, and we are looking to replace that canine unit. It takes about $20,000 to get a new unit up and running, because you have to find the dog, purchase the dog, have the officer trained with the dog, and then you can put them out on the street. But the canine unit that we have here typically does a lot of outreach into our schools. They also protect the officers in certain situations. They assist the officers in certain situations. So they're a great asset to help keep our officers healthy and safe, but at the same time doing some really good work in the community. So if you've got nickels and dimes jingling in your pocket, or you have some funds that you don't mind helping us with that endeavor, we'll be passing through the auditorium, and we'll also be at the back at the end of the performance, that if you can donate anything will be helpful, because we've got a little ways left to go. So along with that, we'll be doing a contest, and so if you didn't get a sheet for being part of the Eager Beaver contest, please ask one of the ushers and fill those out really quickly for us. Understand, we're just about ready to come to stage. So sit back and enjoy. Talent to stage.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's just a couple minutes before the show, and that means it's time to get acquainted with you, lovely people, our audience tonight. How many of you guys have ever been to or listened to a program like Gunsmoke or Broadway's My Beat before?
It's a little hard to see. Okay, we got a couple.
All right, does that include those who were here yesterday? Yeah, there you go. Okay, awesome. All right, and next question is, how many of you guys have ever been here at BV to see a performance? Okay, a lot better. That's good. Well, things are a little bit different tonight from what you might expect when you come to the theater. First of all, there is no lights or scenery, and you get a part in this. Yeah, you are the audience. Right, okay. Now, you don't have any lines to memorize or any blocking or anything like that, but you might have to occasionally maybe laugh whenever the show is funny. We hope. Yeah, okay. Clapping when the show or song ends, that is also very much appreciated. And, yeah, let's just practice real quick. There you go, okay. You're too kind. All right, and we thought we might get a little chance to practice your part since there's a couple of you guys who haven't been here before. First, we'll practice laughing and clapping. Now, at the top of the show, you get to applaud. Yeah, before you even see the show, you get to clap. It's kind of like Jim and Fallon or Ellen, how the audience is clapping in as you're just coming in. Now, we have a couple lights up here that's going to help you to know when to clap, when to laugh, and when to be quiet. We haven't used these before, so we'll just go ahead and give them a try. So we'll start with quiet. Good, okay. That wasn't too hard. Well, okay. Next we'll try laugh. All right. Okay. That was as forced as you could be. That was great. All right, next we'll try applaud. That's great. Now remember, these will only be used at the beginning of the show and at the end. But you're free to laugh and clap whenever you would naturally do so throughout the show. Now, before we begin, I would like to remind you that you can be a contestant in our show, Eager Beaver. There are fabulous prizes for those who participate, so if you would like to do this, please ask an usher for a contestant questionnaire and return it to them as soon as possible. Have we done that? Do we have questionnaires? Yes, awesome, okay. Anyone want to participate in our show?
They're very hard questions. Do you consider yourself a smart person? Yes or no? If you don't know the answer, are you willing to make one up? Yes or no? And do you want to win great prizes? Yes or no? Those are the questions. It's not hard.
Anyone?
Okay, well, I'm in the back in case you change your mind.
All right.
Oh, Glenn.
All right, so I think everything is almost ready. The actors are in their places and the crews are getting ready, so there's just only one more thing to tell you. There will be about 3 minutes during which nothing's going to happen except for the actors and crew and everyone else moving into position. This allows the media crew to prepare to go on the air, and it might be a good time for any last-minute trips to the lobby. And we will be cued by Mr. Walker when we are 1 minute from showtime.
Actually, we're pretty good, so I think we'll just go ahead and roll.
And there's the cue. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and we will start. All right. And good evening. Welcome to the second night of Sawtooth Radio Theater, coming to you from deep in the heart of Beaver Country on the campus of Buena Vista University in the city beautiful Storm Lake, Iowa. Sawtooth Radio Theater brings hilarious comedy, intense drama, beautiful music, and local interest to the airways on 97.5 KBVU Alta Storm Lake, BVTV, and on the web at www.kbvu975.com. I'm Justin Forkba, your announcer for this evening, and this evening's program is sponsored by Celia's Antique in downtown Storm Lake. Are you interested in unique items to add beauty and intrigue to your home decor? Well, look no further than Celia's Antique. This local shop offers all kinds of antiques, from kitchenwares to laundry items to holiday items. All the items at Celia's are things you won't be able to find anywhere else. So stop by to see what Celia's has to offer. And if you're looking for the perfect unique gift for the holidays, check out Celia's Antique during the holiday open hours. House on Lake Avenue, November 11th from 12 to 4 p.m. Whether adding to your collection or trying to find a perfect piece to finish your room, you can find what you're looking for at Celia's Antique. Tonight's slate of shows includes Gunsmoke, Who's on First, Broadway's My Beat, and The Importance of Being Earnest. But first, Gunsmoke. Around Dodge City and the interior out west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. And around Storm Lake, downtown Storm Lake and the territory of northwest Iowa, there's just one way to handle the blistering summer and the punishing winter, and that's Rust Western Shed. The magnificent array of boots provides you with just the ability to weather any storm in fashion. Have a pair of old favorites that just aren't doing the job, bring it in, and we'll fix them up just like new. Come and experience the rustic image, friendly service, and the smell of leather. You'll think you're back in the Old West, whether strutting around town or rustling up the dirt. On the old back trail, with Rust Western Shed, you'll be prepared. Rust Western Shed, good for all seasons and all types, from wannabes to the real cowboys. And Gunsmoke, the described story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of the men who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for, and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and awful lonely.
So, you're a false capper, huh?
Yeah, that's right, mister.
Well, you say your name out like you got nothing to hide.
Well, now you're right again.
Well, I guess a man who wanted to hide something need be wearing a gun to help him do it.
Maybe.
Well, are you agreeing with me or you ain't agreeing with me?
Any way you want it, mister.
Yeah, you're big, Capper. I ain't afraid of you.
There's no reason you should be.
You're awful big. Man be a fool to go against you without a gun, wouldn't he? Well, wouldn't he?
Mister, have a drink.
Nah. Here, have this instead. I always carry an extra gun in my belt.
I don't want your gun.
Well, I can't fight you unless you got a gun. You're too big.
We got no cause to fight, mister. Now you take your gun back.
You're afraid. You're a coward. You're stinking.
Don't you push it, mister.
I said you're a coward.
All right, filler. You've had enough.
Ah, you. Keep out of this.
I am wearing a gun, mister, and I'll bend it across your skull in a minute.
Oh, you're the marshal.
Get out of here. Go on. Move.
Sure.
Well, suppose I ought to thank you, Marshal.
No need.
Name's False Capper.
You know, most men around Dodge do wear guns, Kappa.
I've had enough of fighting, Marshal.
Oh? And where was that?
Why, the war. Had it from Harper's Ferry all the way to Richmond. You know, a man gets tired of killing.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Dillon.
Yeah? What is it, Chester?
Mr. Dillon, Ben Stansel's out there in the street.
So?
He's about to beat up one of his riders.
I suppose it has to do with his sister again, huh?
Yes, sir, it sure does, and Carrie's there, too.
All right, let's go.
Oh, I declare, that poor Carrie. Mr. Dillon, she was trying to load their wagon all by herself, and this rider of Stansel's came along, and he was helping her when Stansel himself come up and got real sore about it.
Stansel doesn't deserve a sister like Carrie.
She's as nice as he is mean and ugly. There they are.
Yeah.
Well, say, where's that cowboy at?
He's lying on the ground behind Stansel.
Well, I sure didn't hear no shooting.
Get back to loading that stuff, Carrie. Did you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Ben.
Well, I hope you didn't kill him, Stansel.
He's all right, Marshal. I only knocked him down.
Well, I'll get some water from over there.
I should have killed him.
For what? Trying to help Carrie do man's work?
Carrie's my sister, Marshal. What she does ain't no business of yours.
No, but you keeping men away from her the way you do is gonna lead to real trouble one of these days.
My trouble, Marshal.
Not if you kill somebody. You know, I guess men don't like the way you treat her. There's somebody else trying to help her.
What?
Now, just take it easy, Stansel. That man's not wearing a gun.
Then he better go get one.
There you are, ma'am.
What do you think you're doing, stranger?
Well, that box seems a little heavy for a lady to be lifting.
Please, Ben, he didn't mean no harm.
You know this man?
Well, he told me his name.
Carrie, you're turning into a regular...
Now, I wouldn't talk like that, mister.
You shut up.
There's been enough fighting for one day, Stancil. Your wagon's loaded, so why don't you get going?
All I can say to you, mister, is you better get yourself a gun. Get up on the seat, Carrie.
Good day, Miss Carrie.
Goodbye, Mr. Captain.
Oh, there. Huh.
Well, how'd you get mixed up in this, Kappa?
I was curious, so I followed you out. Then I've seen her struggling with that box. I couldn't just stand there and watch her, could I?
Uh-huh. You just remember something. Someday Stancil's gonna kill somebody over her.
Well, I sure hope it won't be me.
Then you know what to do, huh?
Yeah, I know what to do, Marshal.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, kitty. You shopping?
Well, I guess a woman's always shopping, Matt, whether she buys anything or not.
I believe that. Well, now.
What?
That's Carrie Stancil.
Oh, well, sure.
But isn't that false Kappa driving her wagon?
Well, where you been the last few weeks, Matt? He drives her wagon every time she comes to town.
He does.
Well, sure. He rides out and meets her part way, ties his horse behind, and they drive in together.
And this has been going on for a couple of weeks, you say?
Oh, well, at least.
Ben Stancil hasn't found out, I take it?
I doubt if Kappa's ever showed himself anywhere near the ranch, Matt.
Why? You think he's afraid?
Don't you?
Maybe he only wants to avoid a fight.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, not necessarily, kitty.
Well, if he wasn't a coward, he'd be wearing a gun, wouldn't he?
I don't know, kitty. I haven't decided about false Kappa.
Look at them, Matt. They're so wrapped up in each other they don't even see us.
No, Foz, this is the last time. It has to be.
I hope I don't bring you no trouble, Carrie, but I ain't gonna stop seeing you.
Huh. She's smarter than he is.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I guess she'll never be able to get away from that brother of hers. Oh, Matt, look.
Yeah?
There's gonna be trouble, Matt. Stancil looks awful mad.
Well, I don't like to interfere in family matters, but this time I guess I better.
Yeah, you'd better hurry, too.
Yeah, I will.
What's going on, Carrie?
Please, Ben, let's talk about it at home, not here.
We're gonna settle this here and now. And you ain't gonna stop it, Marshal.
I just wanted to make sure you remember that false Kappa doesn't carry a gun, Stancil.
Dirty coward. Of course he doesn't.
A gun wouldn't solve many things, Stancil.
It'd get you killed. That'd solve things.
Maybe for you, but not for Carrie.
I don't even want to hear you saying her name.
You're gonna have to hear it. Now, it's gone on long enough, Stancil, the way you treat her.
What I do with Carrie ain't no business of yours.
I want Carrie to marry me.
Foz, you never told me that.
Well, I've been thinking on that, Carrie. I figured to wait, but I guess there ain't time now for waiting.
Oh, Foz.
Carrie's worked hard for you, Stancil, and you never gave her a thing of her own. You kept everybody from her for fear of losing her. She ain't a woman to you. A sister. She's nothing but cheap labor.
I'll kill you sure now.
No, you won't, because you'd hang for it.
I'll get you, Capper. One way or the other.
Carrie,
Yes?
you go on back to the ranch and get what things you need. I'll be waiting right here for you tomorrow noon.
No, Carrie.
You can't stop us, Stancil. You're gonna be free, Carrie. You make up your mind later about marrying me, but you're gonna be free.
Carrie?
Stancil, you shut up. And don't you lay a finger on her, I'll just beat you to death. Go on now, Carrie.
All right, Foz.
Noon tomorrow, Carrie. I'll be waiting. And you mind what I said, Stancil. Don't you try to stop her.
I won't try to stop her. It's you I'm gonna stop.
Now, you know, Marshal, I didn't mean to cause trouble when I came here.
Well, maybe not, Kappa, but you should have done it.
Mr. Dillon,
Yeah? What is it, Chester?
you better get on out there, quick. It's fixing to happen. Ben Stancil just rode in with two of his men.
Has Carrie showed up yet?
No, sir, she ain't, but False Capper was waiting for her when them others came in.
I don't think Stancil would let her go without a fight.
Oh, there's gonna be a fight, all right. Of some kind. Look how they're crowding.
Capper, I'm gonna fix you good.
I see you brought plenty of help.
Well, you're too big for one man to handle, but the three of us can do it.
No, you don't, Stancil.
You keep out of this, Marshal.
You don't think I'm gonna stand by and watch 3 men work one over, do ya?
Wait, Marshal.
Yeah? What, Kappa?
Now, there ain't no other way. I'll take them on. All of them. It's gotta be done.
Wait a minute. Luke is coming yonder.
It's Carrie. I told her to go back home.
What in the world's the matter with her? She looks like she got drug.
You keep away from her, Capper.
Shut up, Stancil. Leave him be.
What happened to you?
They caught up with me at the edge of town.
Here, I'll help you down.
I got here anyway. He couldn't stop me.
Did your brother do this to you? Did he knock you around?
You get back on that wagon and go home, Carrie.
All right, hold it, Stancil. Let her talk.
Carrie, did he do it?
Yes.
You sure need convincing, Carrie.
I told you to shut up, Stancil.
Chester?
Yeah?
Would you be good enough to take Carrie here over to Miss Kitty's? Because I got a little business here.
I'd be glad to, Capper.
Don't you move, Stancil.
You come on with me, Carrie.
All right, boys. Let's get to work.
Now, just a minute, Stancil. I've changed my mind.
What?
I ain't going to fight you. Not now. Not that way. We're going to settle this for good and all.
What are you talking about?
Marshal Dillon, may I ask you a favor?
What, Kappa?
Lend me your gun. Well?
All right. All right. Here it is.
Thank you.
Now what's this? What are you two doing? Who ever heard of a lawman lending his gun?
I think Kappa's right, Stancil. This business has got to be settled for good, and he's the one to do it, not me.
Okay, then. You can watch him die. You
Now-
ready, boys?
Now, wait a minute, Stancil. You didn't say nothing about no gunfighting.
What difference that make?
There's something about him. I don't like the way he wears that gun. He looks kind of professional to me.
He's nothing but a tin horn, and he's a coward at that.
He ain't no coward, and I ain't having no part of this. Come on, Bob. Let's don't be fools.
Well, now you fight, both of you.
Good.
Stancil?
Was he right, Capper? Are you a gunman?
You can find out easy enough.
You gonna stand there and allow this, Marshal?
I can't stop it now.
Well, I think he is a gunman. I think he's a killer.
Stancil, you're through. Get going.
Well,
Marshal, your gun. I thank you.
Sure.
You remember I told you how a man gets tired of killing?
I had a feeling it was more than the war that did it, Kappa.
I was all through wearing a gun. That's why I asked Carrie to marry me.
So?
You tell her for me, Marshal. Tell her I was ready to kill her brother. I can't ask her to marry me now. The day will always come when I need to put on a gun again.
Not against Stancil.
Well, there's others. A man like me has got enemies.
Why don't you tell her about it yourself, Kappa?
It wouldn't be fair. I'd be influencing her the wrong way just being there. Will you do it?
It's too late.
Huh?
Look behind you.
Oh.
She didn't go to Kitty's. She was waiting to see what happened. Yeah, she saw you, Kappa. Gun and all. She doesn't look like she's coming to tell you goodbye.
No. No, she doesn't, does she?
Falls?
From Western to comedy, Sawtooth Radio Theater has it all. One of the best loved acts on radio and television was Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Their comedy routines kept audiences laughing for over 20 years. Tonight, go with us now to the ballpark as Abbott and Costello are watching the game.
You know, strange as it may seem, they give baseball players peculiar names nowadays. On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the guys on the St. Louis team.
Well, I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
Do you know these fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then, who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean, the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow's name on first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first base?
What are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you, who is on first?
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Well, yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who is on first?
Have you got a first baseman on first?
Well, why, certainly.
Well, all I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, no. What is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Well, don't change the players around.
I'm not changing anybody.
Well, take it easy, man.
What's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, what's the guy's name on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about him.
How could I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
If I mention the third baseman's name, then who did I say is playing third?
No, who's on first?
Stay off of first, would you?
Please. What is it that you'd like to know?
What is the fellow's name on third base?
Oh, what is the fellow's name on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. Look. When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Well, certainly.
Who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
When you give the guy the money, who gets it?
Well, yes, he's entitled to it. Sometimes his wife comes down and picks it up.
Whose wife?
Well, yes.
Look, when you give the guy a receipt, how does he sign it?
Who?
The guy you give the money to.
Oh, who? That's how he signs it.
Never mind. Do you have an outfield?
Oh, certainly.
St. Louis has got a good outfield.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, the left fielder's name.
Why?
I don't know, I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me, who's playing left field?
Oh, who's playing first?
Stay out of the infield! I want to know, what's the fellow's name in left field?
What's on second?
I am not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know!
Third base! Now take it easy, man.
And the left fielder's name?
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's in center field.
Wait a minute. You got a pitcher on this team?
Oh, wouldn't this be a fine team without a pitcher?
I don't know. What's the pitcher's name?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you, man.
Then go ahead.
Tomorrow.
Okay, what time?
Well, what time what?
What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who's pitching?
Oh, now listen. Who is not pitching?
I will break your arm if you say who's on first.
Then why did you ask me?
I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
Oh, what's on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
You got a catcher?
Oh, sure.
The catcher's name.
Today.
Wait, today and tomorrow's pitching?
Well, now you've got it.
That's it. St. Louis has got a couple of days on the team.
Well, I can't help that. What do you want me to do?
You know, I'm a good catcher too.
I know that.
I'd like to play for St. Louis someday.
Well, I might arrange that.
I'd like to catch. Now, tomorrow's pitching on the team and I'm catching.
Okay.
Tomorrow throws the ball and the guy gets up and he bunts the ball.
Yes.
So when he bunts the ball, me, being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and I throw it to who?
Now! That's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, that's all you have to do.
I throw it to first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Who has it?
Naturally.
Naturally?
Naturally.
I throw the ball to naturally.
No, you throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Naturally.
So I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Same as you, man. Same as you.
You throw the ball to who? Who gets it?
He better get it.
Well, that's it. All right, now don't get excited. Take it easy.
Now, I throw the ball to first base. Whoever it is drops the ball, so the guy runs to second.
Uh-huh.
Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What? Throws it to, I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play.
Could be.
And then the guy gets up, and it's a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a darn.
Oh, what was that?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
again. This is Sawtooth Radio Theater on 97.5 KBVU, Alta Storm Lake, and BVTV Channel 3. And it's on the web at kbvufm.radio.net. Tonight, we bring you the second installment of our quiz show, Eager Beaver. Do we have any people? Yes, awesome. All right, so we need 2 contestants. All right, so. All right, while they're doing that, I'm just going to explain. This is the quiz show where speed is more important than accuracy. Yeah. The rules are simple. Contestants have 30 seconds to answer as many questions as they can. Answers are tallied, and the person with the most wins. And tonight, our contestants are Kenya Ortega, and Catherine McCline.
Yeah, Catherine Nick something. Come on down! Yay!
Yeah. All right. Come on down. Come over. Grab a mic. These 2 right there would be great. Yeah. You wanna. All right. So how are you guys feeling today?
Lucky.
Lucky. Awesome.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I just like, oh, sign my name.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, so, all right, I'm just going to explain the rules again. You have till the time, okay, you're going to be timed 30 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Remember, you got to be fast, not necessarily accurate. If you got an answer, just spit it out. Awesome? Yeah.
Any answer.
Any answer.
Any words.
The time would start as soon as I finished reading the first question. And you have, again, 30 seconds. And you can win some fabulous prizes, all right? Okay, so is our timekeeper ready? Awesome. First question. 100 years ago, what was the lawn on South Shaler Chapel used for?
Lawn golf.
Got an answer? Anything?
Bowling.
Bowling? No, it's for tethering horses and cows, actually. And according to local legend, while Storm Lake Avenue made so wide.
Could you repeat that?
Why is Storm Lake Avenue made so wide? Lake Avenue.
Would it be for the boats?
No.
Oh.
I think it's for it's the farm machinery.
No, it's for horse racing. We used to have horse racing here. Did you know? Interesting. And what is the geographical name for the area within the wind farm located?
Alta.
Alta.
It's actually Buffalo Ridge. You guys are. I like the teamwork that's going on here. Okay. What is the closest continent to Antarctica?
South America.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. First question. Time. Okay, so that's our Eager Beaver quiz show for tonight. And the winner. Thank you. And you can come on later to pick up your prize. And just because we're great sports here at KBVU Radio Theater, you also get a prize.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, you're listening to Sawtooth Radio Theater on 97.5 KBVU, Outer Storm Lake, and the University Cable Network, Channel 3, and at BVU.edu. And if you haven't noticed, we have multiple websites that you can go to. And tonight's installment is brought to you by Celia's Antiques in downtown Storm Lake. And now for the classic comedy sketch made famous by Abbott. Nope, just kidding. And we're moving on. This show is brought to you by Daily Apple in Storm Lake. Are you someone who has trouble relaxing in school or work? Do you struggle with getting sick or getting your daily dose of vitamins and minerals? With everything so stressful in life, the Daily Apple knows that it's hard to keep your mind and body healthy. and they're here to help. Stay healthy this flu season with high-quality doTERRA essential oils from the Daily Apple. Even if your body isn't sick, they can ease your mind and help with sleep, emotions, and general wellness. You can also keep your body in tip-top shape with their vitamins, supplements, and organic food options. Their independently owned storefront is filled with an electric mix of health products, clothing, and gifts to keep your mind and body sound. And because the Daily Apple knows that college students especially struggle with stress and money, they offer a healthy discount of 15% for BVU students. So take care of yourself by stopping by the Daily Apple in Storm Lake today. All right, so our next show is Broadway's My Beat. Broadway's My Beat with Cole Hackbarth as Detective Danny Glover.
Broadway's My Beat, from Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. In autumn sunlight, the September day trots out its promises for Broadway's consideration, displays them in doorways, in push carts, in gutters, decorates them with price tags, invites you to browse, don't touch, buy, don't squeeze, and at cut rates of secondhand delights, the prices slash down to any man's purse, the bold end of dreams. The vendors simper, the hawkers wink. Bye, kid. That's a winter sun on your shoulder, and the day is short, so bye. And that's what you do, kid, because on Broadway, there's no other choice. And at police headquarters, the September day is arranged as squares of violence on your desk, stacked as to category, degree, grade. Because the day is still fresh, you put off the reaching for them, the touching of them. But it screams close to your ear.
In the morgue, Danny. Come down. I've got something of interest to you.
You walk the corridor to the room of the dead, through the swinging doors into a place without season, where all nights, all days are of equal length, where temperature is constant, where the wind is conditioned before its let flow over death. Walk up to the man who waits for you.
A nervous twitch, Danny, to juggle things in my right hand. Maybe I'll be remembered for it.
What have we got, Dr. Fine?
The man lying there. They found him in his bed last night. Murdered. 2 bullets. These that murdered him. Look.
Yeah, a 22 and a 32. Wouldn't you say so, Doctor?
That I wouldn't know. What is known is only one of these was needed to kill him. Either one. The man was wanted dead twice, Danny. He was killed twice. 2 bullets, different size, twice dead.
You know who he was?
When they brought him to me last night, there was a tag on him. A name, Tom Keeler. An address, the Nixon Hotel. Nothing else. No other word to the living about why such things have to happen.
You're sure, Doctor?
Yeah.
You're sure that...
Each wound was a mortal wound, Danny. Each wound could. Yeah, I'm sure. You want these, huh?
Yeah.
Take 'em.
And that's the way my day began. And the ingredients of it were a medical examiner, a murdered man, and 2 bullets. In a room of no value except to the dead, except to those whose business is with death. Consider that briefly, then push it away. Leave, go, get out, and hurry. And in the corridor, find what you're looking for, the breath of air not controlled by a thermostat. Then the walk down the hall, turn over the 2 bullets to technical, then outside to the squad car, the ride to West 35th Street to the Nixon Hotel. To the 5-story brownstone that seems to list from the pressure of the insurance housing project next door to it. Go in, ring a bell. Wait. Be greeted by the man in gray suspenders and no shirt.
Morning.
Good morning, I'm Danny Clover, police.
Randy Quantrio. Hi.
You had a little trouble here last night, didn't you?
Oh, just a mess of it.
Did you know the man who was killed?
You mean Tom, huh?
That's right, Tom Keeler.
What do you mean, know him?
Talk to him, have a beer with him.
Said hiya to him. That's about the extent of my to do with him.
How about visitors? Did he have any?
Look at the sign over my shoulder, Mr. Clover. Mr. Clover. I knew some Clovers down in Selma, Alabama. You any kin to any Clovers?
No.
Oh, look at the sign over my shoulder. N-O visitors. No visitors.
And you think just because the sign is there, Tom Keeler didn't have any visitors?
No, I don't, mister. We got a sign in each and every room says no smoking in bed. And the last year we had 3 mattress fires. So what I'm saying is I never seen anybody sneak past this desk that I said to myself, hey, there's a Tom Keeler visitor.
What else about Keeler?
Oh, he got mail this morning. Maybe I ought to tell you that.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Well, I'm going to. Fresh mail that come in this morning. Here, the letter.
Oh, thanks.
From the Great Northern National Bank.
So I see.
Please come in and talk to us with regards to your commercial account at your earliest convenience.
You read upside down, Mr. Quantrio?
I lived in Baltimore.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Quantrio. Thanks a lot. And for that, Randy Quantrio winked at me, laughed noiselessly at me, leaned against the mail rack, scratched his back with it. It wasn't the moment to intrude any longer on such private pleasures, so I left him. At the Great Northern National Bank, a guard, uniformed in tattletale gray, took my name, my business, walked down a marble aisle with them, an aisle lined with identical desks, identical faces behind them. Unerringly, the guard chose one, the right one. This was a shrewd guard. He muted his voice to the extracurricular business I had brought to the Great Northern, offered it to the man. The man considered it, digested it, and when he had it all in order, motioned me to the ground the guard had placed discreetly close to him.
How can I help you, Mr. Clover?
Man named Tom Keeler had a checking account here.
We're aware of it, therefore.
Then you know that he was murdered last night in a cheap hotel.
We're aware of many things, Mr. Clover. Our research...
I'm sorry I can't hear you. What did you say?
I say that our research department makes a point of informing each of us here of any diverse matters. Matters that could only even most remotely concern us.
Thank you.
Beg your pardon?
I said thank you because you let me hear what you had to say.
I was appointed, Mr. Clover, should any questions arise about the late Thomas Keeler. Should any questions arise, would I know the answer to that question? Your interrogation is what, Mr. Clover?
We down at headquarters think it's strange that Tom Keeler slept in a flop house when he had a...
Checking account with us?
Uh-huh.
Philosophical question, Mr. Clover. Somewhat of our province.
Pardon me? What?
I say that all we know of Thomas Keeler is that we were asked to transfer $50 weekly to his account, which we have done religiously.
Who asked you to do that?
Counselor at Law, George Weber. You have his address. We should give it to you.
Thanks. You were saying you did this until what?
Till 2 weeks ago. Possibly 2 weeks and a fraction of a day. Mr. Weber asked us to discontinue his generosity.
Why?
I suggest that it's a personal matter concerning Mr. Weber. Why trouble with it?
What? Well, I'm sorry,
I said that I...
Never mind. Probably wasn't important. Go to the Park Avenue apartments at George Weber. Be told by the person at the desk that Mr. Weber is not at home. Perhaps at his office, the person suggested. And be handed a slip of paper with the office address in handwriting with eyes dotted with small circles. Weber and Marley, the slip said. Attorneys, Finance Building, Suite 12. Go there. Go through a door and past the beam of an electric eye. Wade through a carpet to a desk and an olive-skinned girl with tight black hair. Offer your name. Show your credentials. Be told Mr. Weber is out. Would you see his partner, Mr. Paul Marley? You would. You nodded past another door. And another beam. And to a slender young man who was waiting for you in front of a wall lined with every law book ever written. Be chaperoned by him through yet another door. There he was, Paul Marley, partner to George Weber, impeccable in morning coat, striped pants, and an army discharge button in his lapel.
That'll be all, Robertson. Now, sit down, please, Mr.
Clover.
Clover. Please, sit down.
Thank you.
The information you gave out there says that you're a policeman.
That's right.
And this is about what, sir? What can I do for you?
It's about a man named Tom Keeler.
Keeler.
The man found murdered last night.
Ah, yes.
Shot twice with different caliber bullets, either one fatal.
Yes. Is this all a matter of legal advice for the police department? You want to know if a man was shot by 2 bullets and each...
That's not it at all. Tom Keeler, it seems, was supported by your partner.
By Mr. Weber?
That's right. Each week, $50 was drawn on Mr. Weber's account and deposited in favor of Tom Keeler.
Surely...
There's no mistake. That's the way it was.
But I know Mr. Weber so well. His affairs, everything.
Where is he?
He's on Fire Island since the day before yesterday. He has a place there. I'm pretty sure he went there.
A little out of season for Fire Island, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
The end of September?
Mr. Weber goes there all year round. Whenever.
Whenever what?
Whenever he's disturbed. He has the idea, the sea, the strand, the loneliness of it. Personally, I don't know.
What was Mr. Weber disturbed about?
Oh, he has a sister, Peggy. She's just 20, so you can imagine.
No, I can't.
Beautiful girl of 20, rich, and you can't imagine?
Look, Mr. Marley.
My partner was constantly arguing with her. We're a conservative firm, Mr. Clover. Individually, Mr. Weber and myself...
What's that got to do with Peggy?
Peggy Weber is headstrong.
How?
I take my partner's word for it that she's headstrong. Therefore...
And they argued, Peggy and her brother. What about?
I have no idea.
And he went to Fire Island to recuperate.
One way of saying it. Anything else, Mr. Clover? No? Then please, these documents here if you don't mind.
And get in touch with the authorities at Fire Island. Check on the whereabouts of George Weber. And wait. And an hour later, a phone call. Mr. Weber is not on Fire Island. Mr. Weber's place there is deserted. From the looks of it, hasn't been inhabited for over a month. So come up with a conclusion. Mr. George Weber was missing. Put out an all-points bulletin on him. And go back to the Park Avenue apartment. Make a request to the management.
We're always glad to accommodate the, police.
Then, let's go, shall we?
Of course. Mr. Weber's apartment, right this way. Down the hall. Although I'd like to know why we should intrude.
Don't worry about it.
Yes, sir.
Open the door.
Of course. And here we are.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
What did you say? What did you say, Mr. Clover? I didn't... Oh.
It stopped both of us, the management and myself. It was a sight that only needed one glance, and the details were there forever. The free-shaped coffee table and the grotesquerie of the man spread beside it. The tracery of blood that stopped abruptly.
Mr. Weber. That's Mr. Weber.
The penknife, bone-handled and sheep in his heart, to be remembered. Details in the death of George Weber. When the night slips out of Broadway's fingers and the false dawn blurs the shadows, Broadway stands bewildered. The carnival is run down. Only the stragglers walk it, with their step without pattern, like their dreams. And the color of their loneliness is the darkened neon, the last glow of a cigarette butt, in pavement gray. And they walk it. They never know Broadway's closed for the night. And somehow or another, whether it deserves it or not, the world gets to be 9 o'clock in the morning. Then there's a place for everybody. It's daytime, breakfast time, work time, make $1 time. Or as Sergeant Gino Tartaglia said it.
Lend me $1, Danny.
Oh, sure, Gino. Here.
Thank you. The reason for this transaction, Danny, is...
No, you don't have to explain
No,
it.
I want to.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. Mrs. Tartaglia forgot to tuck my $1 into my lunchbox today, as it is her wont for the little things man during the day. She just phoned me and confessed to her dereliction of duty in this matter.
Gino, you really...
She said to ask Danny for it, and tomorrow she'll tuck $2 so that you will not go hungry.
Tell Mrs. T not to worry about it.
Oh, Roger, Wilco. And now, Danny, to the chores of the day. Knife which did George Weber in was of the variety which can be purchased at our leading hardware stores for the nominal sum of $1.98. Practically untraceable. Prints wiped clean.
Go on.
Well, that's about the sum and substance of the intelligence which has been shunted from downstairs to here, Danny. As of now, however...
Yeah.
A young lady is in the anteroom. She wants to see you.
Who is she?
Miss Peggy Weber, sister of the most latterly deceased.
Get her.
This way to see Danny Clover.
Sit down, Miss Weber. That'll be all, Gino. I'm glad you came, Miss Weber. Your name's right here on my calendar to see today.
I knew you'd want to question me about George.
How did you hear about his death?
I was home. The late news on the radio. You see, I didn't live with my brother. We didn't get along.
Oh?
Gonna be a lot simpler now with him gone. I'll wear a black dress like this one for a month and call it a decent interval of mourning.
It's not any concern of mine, Miss Weber, but...
Oh, it's entirely your concern, Mr. Clover. Your position demands that you locate people who would have motives for murdering my brother. I would.
Did you kill him?
A few of my friends and I got together some time ago. For kicks. We were going to try things together, you know, just for kicks. Black magic. Well, I spent the first 10 days of my membership sticking pins into my brother's picture. And all that happened is that he got a sty on his eye. Outside of that, I never harmed a hair on his head.
Why all this hate, Miss Weber?
Simply this. I love a boy. I told George about him. George got red, then blue, red again, then a lovely color I never saw before. He found out who the boy was. Ruined him.
Who was the boy?
Ralph Clay. Now runs a bowling alley on 3rd.
One more thing. Do you know a man named Tom Keeler?
Not offhand. Why?
Oh, never mind. Leave your address with Sergeant Tartaglia, Miss Weber, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
You Ralph Clay?
Huh? Oh, hello. Yeah, that's me. To my day and day. You walked in on an empty hall, mister. Feel real sorry about it.
No, don't be. This way we can have a long talk.
Shall we? Wait a minute. I want to take care of this thing coming up. Kingpin, 7-pin. Challenge. What do you think?
Go ahead.
Watch me. Yeah. Never say go ahead to me in that tone, mister. Not in that shot. My quirk. Every day I live for it.
Something Peggy Weber said. It sent me to you.
Peggy, that girl had class. She tell you I killed her brother?
I got the impression she was in love with you.
Pity that girl. She lives in ancient history, at a time where she loved and I loved back. But ancient history. Under the bridge.
Peggy did something to you?
She had a brother. Now dead, I read. He stopped me for a breath on the way to the sports page.
George Weber did something to you?
Yeah. And I'm a man who likes to talk about it. My daily nourishment.
Share it with me.
Sure. Georgia Porgy Weber didn't like how his sister used to put her hand in mine, so he mocked me lousy.
How?
Standing before you, Mr. Police, is a boy who once thought he was a lawyer. Cap in hand, he went to Georgie, his soon-to-be brother-in-law, and asked for a job. Keep it in the family. Georgie smiled, shook his head no, and with words and music, he told me he'd spoil me from any job I took from anyone he knew.
Because you loved his sister.
I was second in my class in law school. You want to invent other reasons?
Why hate Peggy for it?
Things like that run the blood. I don't stick around till it comes out and Peggy and slaps me in the head.
Then that gives you a motive for having killed Weber.
Ain't that a lucky one?
Tom Keeler, what do you have for him?
Keeler?
Man who got killed in a flea bag. Man Weber supported until...
Typical. Here's upon him, I mean. Old Uncle Tom was an old friend of Georgie and Peggy's father. After the father died, Uncle Tom still hung around.
Why is he called Uncle?
Peggy calls him Uncle because he was her confessor, her hero. Everything day, Peggy, she brought to good old Uncle Tom.
Not to a brother.
Who goes to a man like that except to kill him? I give you something to ponder, Mr. Police?
Yeah, you did.
I'm glad. Makes me want to live through another day.
Watch the bitter boy make his strike.
Yeah.
And consider the lie he'd flip to you. The girl's lie that she didn't know Tom Keeler. And wonder over it. Jot it down in memory as a future conversation piece with Peggy Weber. And then remember a man who said he knew all about George Weber. Everything. Everything but the mention of Keeler's share in his partner's life. Go to him, wait for him to finish his preening.
Got this handsome little time machine for being on my toes, Mr. Clover. Handsome tidbit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
17 jewels, Hamilton. All because I proved in court, though Chap's wife had been unfriendly to said Chap. Look what the grateful devil had engraved on the gold. To chum Paul Marley for setting me free.
What was there about Tom Keeler that shut your mouth about him?
My. My compliments, Mr. Clover. Brilliant strategy. Attack while the enemy celebrates minor victories. In tactics class at Fort Meade,
You told me about Weber, personal things about him, his sister. Why not about Tom Keeler?
It pained me. For George's sake, for my deceased partner's sake, it pained me.
You'll show me where it hurts.
You think you'll be able to understand? Don't answer. It doesn't matter. Keeler was a derelict, a bum, a hungry shadow in George's closet. That's why George opened that account for him, to keep him from coming here to beg. George and I had a large investment here. The presence of Keeler...
Weber cut off the account.
At my insistence, my counsel. It made quite a row the other day between Tom and George. I had to shoo people back to their desks.
You killed George Weber?
Attack. I admire your clever... I admire your method, Mr. Clover.
The investment, the plush carpets, the perfume secretaries, the junior partners. All yours now. You kill Weber for that?
The death of my partner was a great loss to me, Mr. Clover. A personal loss. Were it in my humble power to hunt down his assassins, I would dedicate my knowledge, my life, my...
Yes, Downey? Something I can do for you?
Yeah, Dr. Fine, I have an idea about something. I want you to check it for me.
Gladly.
Get out the medical examiner's report on Tom Keeler.
Gladly. 1 second. Here. What do you want it for?
I want to put it side by side to this one I got on George Weber.
So?
What does it say?
It says, Weber died day before yesterday at approximately 6 p.m.?
Uh-huh. And it says on this report that Keeler died about midnight on the same day. You know what that means, Doctor?
No. What?
There's a pencil on your desk. Figure it out.
Well, Mr. Clover, you used my address after all.
Mind if I come in, Miss Weber?
This evening you can go as far as calling me Peggy, but you can't come in.
Well, I'm afraid that I'll have to...
You'll have to force your way in? I could relish that.
Peggy.
But a friend's visiting with me.
Ralph Clay.
You said the password. If you know that, you might as well come in. Ralph, come out wherever you are. Say hello to Mr. Clover, Ralph.
I told you a big fib, didn't I, Mr. Clover? Well, now you know.
I didn't know whether you had broken it off with Peggy or not. It doesn't matter anymore.
You want to ask Peggy questions?
You, too.
Goody, goody.
You lied to me, too, Peggy.
Because I'm a liar. Get Ralph a lot of trouble that way, don't I, Ralph?
Let's just listen to what the man has to say.
You lie about Keeler, Peggy. You said you didn't know who he was.
I explained it to you. I'm a liar.
I found out who killed your brother, Peggy. I said I.
We heard you.
There were a lot of motives floating around, Peggy. Yours.
Leave her alone. She didn't kill her brother. I did.
Oh, cut it out, Ralph.
Peggy.
Ralph had nothing to do with it. I did it.
What's the matter with you, Peggy? You're crazy. You're a liar. You lie. That's why you're saying you killed your brother.
Ralph, please.
Neither one of you killed him. You thought Ralph did, Peggy, and Ralph, you...
What you trying to do to us, Clover? What you doing? Police methods trying to get us to play against each other.
Oh, take it easy, Ralph.
Go on, take it easy, Ralph. Take it easy, Ralph. What are you trying to say? Talk, talk, talk.
Tom Keeler killed Peggy's brother.
What?
Clover, so help me out.
Listen to me, both of you.
Clover.
Let him talk, Ralph.
Keeler killed him because his source of income was cut off. A man like Keeler could kill. A desperate man. A man who loved livelihood. A tramp who made a habit of living off of someone else's generosity.
Ralph, it's all my fault.
You found your brother dead, didn't you, Peggy?
Yes, and I...
You thought Ralph did it.
Yes, I thought... Ralph.
It's gonna be all right, baby.
Peggy went to her Uncle Tom like she always did when she was in trouble. Told him Ralph had killed her brother. What did Tom Keeler say to you, Peggy?
He said not to worry. Just not to worry.
Then he got in touch with you. Huh, Ralph?
Yeah, he did. You know what he told me?
I think so.
He told me Peggy killed her brother. He was the killer all the time. And I'm supposed to be a bright boy.
So we had each of you believing the other had killed George Weber. How much money did he want from each of you to protect the other?
Oh, what difference does it make? It doesn't matter anymore.
Blackmail. That's why Tom Keeler's dead, too. Murdered.
Yeah, you'll slap the cuffs on me for that one, Clover.
No, Ralph. No more. you don't have to anymore. Mr. Clover, my uncle said he wanted everything I had to keep quiet about Ralph. So I went up to his hotel room when he was sleeping, and I shot him.
No, Peggy, that's what I did.
That's what you both did. To protect the other, you both shot Tom Keeler.
Hey, Peggy. Stop it. Peggy, oh, Peggy.
Extra, get your paper.
There's a time on Broadway when the crowd gives up, goes home. The lights buzz fitfully, die. Then it's a street of dim moonlight and dark whispers, and the wind of the autumn night, the wind that scatters everything. Yesterday's headline, yesterday's dreams, yesterday's people. It's Broadway. The gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway, my beat.
And to cap off our evening with Sawtooth Radio Theater, The Importance of Being Earnest, by Oscar Wilde, presented by the Sugar Bowl in Storm Lake, Iowa. Sugar Bowl is the perfect gift shop for every occasion or holiday. Even if you don't know where to start with finding the perfect gift, Sugar Bowl employees will assist you in finding the perfect thing for any occasion. Sugar Bowl offers free gift wrapping year-round and can deliver to any Storm Lake or Alta locations. Sugar Bowl has excellent hours for busy lives. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 4 p.m. Sugar Bowl offers thousands of gift items at every price. You'll find unique, one-of-a-kind merchandises, all at a great price. And right now is the perfect time to stop in. Sugar Bowl Friends and Family Sale is happening October 19th through the 21st. And everyone can save 25% off their purchase. Also, their bargain basement will be open Friday, October 26th, and Saturday, October 27th. Find tons of bargains down in our large basement area with prices slashed as low as 90% off. So it's the perfect time to find the perfect gift at the Sugar Bowl right here in Storm Lake.
Half Moon Street, mess driver. Algernon Moncrief's flat, and hurry.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure. What else would bring one anywhere?
Where have you been since last Thursday?
I was in the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbors.
Are they nice, your neighbors?
Perfectly horrible. Never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them.
But while these cups, Algie, are you expecting someone to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
Oh, how perfectly delightful.
I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
Oh? May I ask why?
Oh, my dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you.
But I'm in love with Gwendolyn. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. Oh, it's very romantic to be in love, but there's nothing romantic in a definite proposal. Besides, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What do you mean, Algie, by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
You rang, sir?
Yes, Lane, bring me the cigarette case Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room the last time he dined here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you've had my cigarette case all the time? I've been frantic over it. I was nearly offering a reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I happen to need cash.
There is no good offering a reward now that the thing has been found.
The cigarette case, sir.
No matter if you should offer a reward, I see now that I look at the inscription that it isn't yours at all.
But of course it's mine.
But this case is a present from someone named Cecily. And you just said that you didn't know of anyone of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Then why does she call you her uncle? Here's the inscription. From little Cecily with her fondest love to a dear Uncle Jack. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It's Ernest.
It isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
But your name has always been Ernest.
Well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Will you kindly explain yourself?
Give me my cigarette case first. Thank you. Now, listen closely to what I am about to say. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me, in his will, guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, lives at my place in the country under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.
Where is this place in the country?
Oh, that is nothing to you, dear boy. You're not going to be invited.
No, go on. Why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
Well, in order to be a good guardian to Cecily, I must adopt a high moral tone regarding everything while I am in the country. This becomes rather boring at times, and so in order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a little brother by the name of Ernest, who lives in the Albany and gets in the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algie, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
Well, the truth is rarely pure and never simple.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I'm feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. Ah, Mr. Worthing, good afternoon.
How are you today, Gwendolyn?
How do I look?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Well, I think of it, Algernon. Have you the music you promised to give me for my little musicale this evening?
Oh, I've laid the music out on the piano. You can pick out those selections if you prefer. If you'll kindly come into the next room for a moment.
Oh, thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful of you. I'm sure the program will be delightful. After all, you have such excellent taste.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Oh yes.
I would like to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's absence.
I would advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back into a room so suddenly.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I've ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite aware of that fact. And even before I met you, I must confess I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as you know, in an age of ideals. My ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Ernest. There is something in that name that inspires confidence. The moment Algernon mentioned to me he had a friend called Ernest, I knew that I was destined to love you.
But you don't really mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest, supposing it was something else.
Like what?
Well, like Jack.
Jack! No, there is very little music in the name of Jack. If any at all, indeed, it produces no vibrations. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Well, Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once.
But you haven't proposed to me yet.
Oh, well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity, and to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it's only fair to tell you that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn!
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you to say to me?
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. Really, how long you took.
Mr. Worthing! Rise, sir, from your knees. Such a position is most indecorous.
Mamma, I am engaged to Mr. Worthing.
Well, in that event, sir, I have a few questions to put to you. While I am making these inquiries, you, Gwendolyn, will wait for me below in the carriage.
Mamma!
In the carriage, oblige, Gwendolyn?
Yes, Mama.
Now then, Mr. Worthing, do you smoke?
Well, yes, I admit I smoke.
I am glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. How old are you?
29.
A very good age to be married at. Now to your parents.
I have lost both my parents.
Both? That seems like carelessness. Who was your father?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I was, well, found in a cloakroom of a station on Brighton Line by a gentleman named Mr. Thomas Cardew. He gave me the name of Worthing because it happened to have a first-class ticket to Worthing in his pocket. Yes, I was found, Lady Bracknell, in a large black handbag.
I'm sure that you can hardly consider that an assured basis for recognition in good society.
May I ask, then, what would you advise me to do?
I would strongly urge you, sir, to try to acquire some relations as soon as possible. You can hardly imagine that I would allow my only daughter to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
It's all right, Algy, you can come in now.
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say that Gwendolyn refused you?
Oh, Gwendolyn was right as a trivet. Her mother is unbearable.
Did you tell Gwendolyn the truth about Ernest?
My dear fellow, the truth isn't the sort of thing one tells a nice young lady like Gwendolyn. I plan to get rid of Ernest. By the end of the week, he shall die of a chill in Paris.
Miss Fairfax says.
Gwendolyn, upon my word.
Mama has just told me all, Ernest. I may never meet you again. In town. However, if you'll give me your country address.
Oh, I don't want Algy to know, but it's the Manor House, Walton, Hertfordshire.
What is it again? I can't hear.
He said he didn't want me to hear, but it's the Manor House, Walton, Hertfordshire.
Oh, bother. Algy! Come along, Gwendolyn. I'll escort you to the door.
Oh, goodbye, Cousin Gwendolyn. Goodbye, Ernest. Oh, Lane, tomorrow I'm going visiting to Mr. Worthing's country home.
Yes, sir.
I shall probably not be back till Monday. Pack my full dress and my summer suit. Oh, I hope tomorrow will be a fine day indeed, Lane.
It never is, sir. It never is.
Cecily! Cecily! Ah, so you're here in your garden. Put away that diary and come to your German lesson. You know your Uncle Jack put particular stress on your German lesson before he left for town yesterday. I really don't see why you waste your time on a diary when you could be spending it on your German lesson.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life.
But memory is the diary that we all carry about with us.
I believe that it's memory that is responsible for those horrible 3-volume novels everyone reads nowadays.
Do not speak slightingly of the 3-volume novel. I wrote one myself in earlier days. Alas, I lost the manuscript once, and so I was never able to finish it.
That is a shame, Miss Prism. But look, I see Dr. Chasuble coming up through the garden.
Ah, Dr. Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure.
Has Mr. Worthing returned from town yet?
No, we don't expect him back till Monday.
Well then, I'll be on my way. Would you care to walk away with me, Miss Prism?
Gladly. Now study your German, Cecily.
Oh, horrid, horrid, horrid German.
Excuse me, Miss Cardew. Mr. Ernest Worthing's calling.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, Uncle Jack's wicked brother. How exciting. Send him out, please, Merriman.
You must be my little cousin Cecily, I'm sure.
And you are Uncle Jack's brother, my cousin Ernest, my wicked cousin Ernest. I don't understand how you happen to be here. Uncle Jack won't be back till Monday afternoon.
Oh, well, what a shame then that I must leave on Monday morning.
It would be better if you could wait for him, I think. He is anxious to talk to you about emigrating. He said he's sending you to Australia. I shouldn't wonder that he does. You do look awfully pale.
Well, I expect it's because I'm so awfully hungry.
How thoughtless of me. Won't you come in for tea?
Thank you. You know, Cousin Cecily, you're the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Miss Prism says that all good looks are a snare.
Well, they are a snare. One every sensible man wants to be caught in.
Oh, I don't think I would care to catch a sensible man. I should know what to talk to him about.
Ah, Miss Prism, Dr. Chasuble.
Mr. Worthing, why we didn't expect you back till Monday.
Oh, my poor
But
brother.
Are you in mourning?
Still leading his shameful, wicked life, is he?
Alas, he is leading no life at all. He's dead. Of a chill. In Paris.
My sympathies, sir. I shall mention this in Sunday's sermon.
Ah, that reminds me. I should like to be christened.
But have you never been christened before?
I don't know. At any rate, I should like to be christened this afternoon. We'll 5:30, do?
Uncle Jack, how nice to see you back. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother Ernest. He arrived half an hour ago. And what do you think? He has already proposed marriage to me. Of course, I have accepted him, and he has promised to be wicked no more, but to change his ways.
But Mr. Worthing's brother Ernest is dead, Cecily.
I am no such thing, Miss Prism. Dear brother Jack.
I mean Ernest.
I think it is so touching to see this family reunion. Come, Cecily, Miss Prism. We shall leave them alone.
Do forgive each other, please.
Algie, you scoundrel. You must leave at once.
Don't be silly, Jack. I'm engaged to Cecily, and I'm staying.
Merriman, send the dog cart. Mr. Ernest is leaving.
Oh, never mind, Merriman. He's decided to stay after all.
He hasn't.
He has.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Oh, yes, he has.
Oh, what's the use?
Miss Gwendolyn Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself. I am Cecily Cardew.
How do you do, Miss Cardew? I am Gwendolyn Fairfax.
How do you do?
Are you on a visit here at Mr. Worthing's country home?
Why, no. I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
His ward! He never told me that he had a ward, though I must say I'm not jealous. Ernest is so dependable.
Oh, it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his elder brother, Jack. Oh, no, Mr. Ernest is not my guardian. Indeed, soon I shall be his. You see, Mr. Ernest and I are engaged.
My darling Cecily, I think there must be some error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me.
My dearest Gwendolyn, it is you who are mistaken. Ernest proposed to me just 15 minutes ago.
It is certainly quite curious. He asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30, therefore I have the prior claim.
I should say it is quite clear that he has changed his mind.
But here he comes now. I'll ask him myself. Ernest, dear.
Gwendolyn, darling, this is a surprise.
I knew there must be some mistake, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whom you are now kissing is my dear guardian, Uncle Jack.
Jack!
Here comes Ernest now.
Well, whom have we here?
May I ask, Ernest, if you are engaged to this young lady?
To what young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn!
Yes, Ernest, to good heavens, Gwendolyn.
I knew there was an error, Miss Cardew. The gentleman you now embrace is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon?
Well, then, if you are not Ernest, and if you are not Ernest, who on earth is Ernest?
Gwendolyn, Cecily, it is very painful for me to say this, but I'm afraid the truth is there is no Ernest.
Lady Bracknell.
Good Lord, it's Aunt Augusta.
Heavens, it's Mamma.
Mr. Worthing! Why have you spirited off my daughter?
He didn't spirit me off, Mamma. I came of my own free will. Mr. Worthing and I are engaged.
You are no such thing. And Algernon, who is the girl around whose waist your left arm is twined?
Oh, allow me to present my ward, Miss Cecily Cardew.
Cecily and I are engaged.
You are no such thing. There must be something invigorating in the air hereabouts. There seems to be a peculiar number of engagements.
Dr. Chasuble and Miss Prism.
About the christenings, gentlemen.
Christenings?
Yes. Mr. Jack Worthing is to be christened Ernest at 5:30. Mr. Ernest Worthing is to be christened, I don't know what, at 6.
You were prepared to make this sacrifice for us?
Darlings.
Well, about the christenings, might they be postponed?
Whatever for?
Well, sir, the fact is, Miss Prism here and I have just become engaged.
What is going on here? Miss Prism?
Lady Bracknell.
Miss Prism? Where is that baby?
What?
What?
28 years ago, Miss Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house in charge of a perambulator containing a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, the police discovered the perambulator standing by itself in a remote corner of Bayswater. It was empty, except for the unfinished manuscript of a dreadful 3-volume novel. Miss Prism, where is that baby?
I don't know. I admit it. I only wish I did. The plain facts are these. By mistake, I put the manuscript for a book I was writing into the perambulator, and I put the baby into a large black handbag that I had intended for the manuscript.
Where did you deposit the handbag?
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria, the Brighton line.
Excuse me, one moment.
I need not tell you, Miss Prism. I suppose of the weeks, nay, years of anguish your error has caused.
I can imagine, Lady Bracknell. I can imagine.
Can you?
Miss Prism, is this the handbag? Examine it carefully before you speak. Is this the handbag?
It seems to be mine. Yes, here are my initials on the clasp. Thank you so much for restoring it to me.
Miss Prism, more has been restored to you than just the handbag. I am the baby you placed in it.
Oh, my Lord.
Mr. Worthing! Then you are the son of my dear dead sister, and therefore Algernon's elder brother.
Algy's elder brother? Then I have a brother after all. I always said I had a brother. Miss Prism, Dr. Chasuble, meet my unfortunate younger brother.
My own, but what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else?
Good heavens, I almost forgot. Can you not love me but under that one name?
Alas, no. Cecily and I have both resolved to marry men by the name of Ernest.
That's it! You were named after your father, Mr. Worthing. His name was General Ernest John Moncrief.
I always told you my name was Ernest, didn't I, Gwendolyn?
Ernest, my own, I felt from the first you could have no other name. I forgive you now for all that has gone before.
Do you forgive me too, Cecily?
Yes, Algernon, if you promise to be rechristened tomorrow.
I do, my love, I do. And now, may I kiss you?
But of course.
My dear nephew, you seem to be displaying a dreadful sense of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I've only realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by Cilius Antique in Storm Lake. When it comes to items you'd be hard-pressed to find in chain store like Farm Primitives, LPS, and 45s, and unique antique rugs and furniture, Cilius is the place to go. When you're at Cilius Antiques, you know for sure that everything you're getting, not cookie cutter. Skip on the boring mass-produced items when it comes to your home decor and stop by Cilius Antiques to find something that you can call your own. And don't forget to stop by the store during the holiday open house on Lake Avenue, November 11th, 12 to 4 p.m. Add something interesting and unique to your home from Cilius Antique. Well, we've come to the end of tonight's program. It has been an eventful evening, and I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsors for tonight's show. And I'd also like to thank the cast for the evening's programs.
You're welcome.
And give a special thanks to the sound effects crew. As well as the radio, cable, and web technology crews for all the magic that make happen. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another night of adventure, mystery, and comedy. Sawtooth Radio Theater is heard on 97.5 KBVU, Alta Storm Lake, the BVTV, and on the web at bvu.edu. Sawtooth Radio Theater is a cooperative production of the Department of Theater and Media Performance and Digital Media at Buena Vista University. For the entire company, I'm Justin Forkpa. Good night.